gentlemen, I'm Mayton Lee from CICS, and I'm happy to be your host this morning. On behalf of CICS, I'd like to thank Citizenship and Immigration Canada for the opportunity to host this settlement funding announcement. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to Minister Finley and the great number of colleagues and clients from the newcomer settlement sector in Scarborough. The service providers with us this morning are the Canadian Arab Federation, Catholic Cross-Cultural Services, East Metro Youth Services, Mennonite New Life Centre of Toronto, South Asian Family Support Services, Tropicana Community Services Organisation, YMCA of Greater Toronto, and YWCA Toronto. I'd also like to welcome all members of the media who are with us this morning. May I also thank our long-time volunteers, as well as board members of CICS and CICS Foundation, who are with us also today. Now, I'd like to have the pleasure of introducing to you Minister Finley. The Honourable Diane Finley was appointed Minister for Citizenship and Immigration on January 4th, 2007. Ms. Finley was first elected to Parliament in 2004 and was then re-elected in 2006. Since her election, she has served as official opposition critic for agriculture and agri-food. On February 6, 2006, Ms. Finley was appointed Minister for Human Resources and Social Development by the Right Honourable Stephen Harper. Beyond her work, Ms. Finley has been board chair of the Brent Community Care Access Centre and has been active with a number of other organisations, including the Canadian Council for Public-Private Partnerships, the National Standards Committee of the Paramedic Association of Canada, the Aurora Club, the Canadian Strategic Leadership Forum, the Ambulance Service Alliance of Ontario, and the Ontario Government Health Policy Advisory Council. Most recently, Ms. Finley has been working with the Thyroid Foundation of Canada to spread the awareness of the thyroid conditions and urge more Canadians to get their thyroid tested. Ms. Finley was diagnosed with Graves' disease, a hyperthyroidism condition, in February 2006, a condition which has led to her wearing tinted lenses at all times. Ms. Finley has a bachelor's degree in administrative studies and a master's in business administration from the University of Western Ontario. Minister Finley, please.
Thanks. Don't usually have to raise it for myself. Mesdames et messieurs, merci. Je suis très heureuse d'être ici à Scarborough aujourd'hui. Et je vous transmets les salutations du gouvernement du Canada et de notre Premier ministre, Stephen Harper. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's wonderful to be back in Scarborough today. What wasn't in my resume is that Scarborough is where I lived and worked when I first graduated from business school. In fact, I was trying to, this morning we were a little bit early and I was trying to drive around and remember just where it was I lived, but that was 20-something years ago, so the roads have changed a bit since then. So it's great to be back. You know, as Minister of Citizenship and Immigration, I really welcome occasions like these that support newcomer families and on their journey to Canadian citizenship. In fact, I consider it my duty to help newcomers as they travel the path to building a better life in Canada, and that's why I'm so very pleased to join you here today. And I'd like to thank Dr. Yuji Tang and all of the hardworking staff for hosting us. We're here, of course, to celebrate the opening of the Centre for Information and Community Services Ontario's new settlement centre. And I believe that everything that a newcomer needs to get started can be found right here. And I congratulate you on creating a harmonious, multicultural hub for newcomers in and around my old hometown of Scarborough. And I'm pleased also that we're joined here today by representatives from the Mennonite New Life Centre of Toronto, Catholic Cross-Cultural Services, East Metro Youth Services, the YWCA, the Canadian Arab Federation, the Centre for Information and Community Services of Ontario, YMCA of Greater Toronto, Tropicana, and South Asian Family Support Services. And everyone has given us such a warm welcome. I really appreciate that. Did you know that in the past 5 years, Canada's population grew by 1.6 million people, and that 1.1 million of those were immigrants? Savez-vous, l'année dernière, le Canada a accueilli près de 430 000 nouveaux résidents permanents, travailleurs étrangers temporaires et étudiants étrangers. D'ici 2012, l'immigration représentera la totalité de la croissance nette de la main-d'œuvre. Last year alone, Canada welcomed close to 430,000 new permanent residents, temporary foreign workers, and international students combined. By 2012, immigration will account for all of the net growth in our labor force. But it's not simply enough to open our doors, invite newcomers in, and then let them fend for themselves. In fact, Statistics Canada reports that immigrants who've arrived over the past 10 years are not doing as well as those who arrived before that. That's not acceptable, and we have to change it. We cannot let newcomers fall behind, and it's clear that Canada needs newcomers, and we want them to succeed. We need to help provide an environment that makes the most of their energy, of their determination, and of their skills. Every time that I come to Scarborough, I'm struck by how much of this city's population, roughly 54% of the residents, has come from other countries. Walk along any one of the main streets here, and you'll find thriving local businesses drawn from and serving many ethnic groups in the area. We want to help newcomers settle into this community, and that's why the Government of Canada is investing close to $10 million over the next 2 years in new settlement funding to the 6 organizations here today to help newcomers successfully integrate into the community. And this funding is in addition to more than $9 million that we've invested in other immigrant-serving organizations in this area just since January of this year. Now, as a result of today's announcement, more newcomers will be able to access a variety of services. Everything from language training, community orientation, referral to community resources, and employment-related services right here in Scarborough. Voici ceux qui en découlent. La réussite des nouveaux arrivants est aussi le nôtre. That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. When newcomers benefit, we all benefit. And our government is committed to helping newcomers build a better life for themselves and for their families. And to that end, we've made improvements to our immigration system that will not only allow us to bring in immigrants with the skills that we need faster, but will also stop the growth of the backlog of applicants to Canada. We're helping provinces like Ontario get the most out of their provincial nominee programs by bringing in people with the skills and work experience that best meet the local needs. We've opened temporary foreign worker program offices in 5 Canadian cities and are helping employers to bring in workers more quickly. And we've cut the rate of landing fee in half, saving an average newcomer family close to $2,000. Now, in order to help newcomers get their foreign credentials recognized, we're also offering foreign credential referral services in 320 Service Canada locations across the country, including 95 here in Ontario, and we're giving would-be immigrants help in assessing their credentials before they even get here. We're also allowing more international post-secondary students to work off campus, giving them greater flexibility to find work here, while expanding exchange programs to give young Canadians work experience abroad and helping international youth gain work experience in Canada. Et nous nous affairons à mettre sur pied la catégorie de l'expérience canadienne pour permettre à certains travailleurs qualifiés et étudiants étrangers possédant une expérience de travail et un diplôme canadien de rester au Canada pendant le traitement de leur demande de résidence permanente. And we'll soon be launching, very soon, the Canadian Experience class to allow certain skilled workers and international students with Canadian degrees and experience to remain in Canada while they apply for permanent residence. Ladies and gentlemen, the trend in immigration levels has gone up, but for years, funding levels have not. That's why when we took office, we increased settlement funding significantly. Through the Canada-Ontario Immigration Agreement, otherwise known as COIA, the Government of Canada has increased settlement funding for Ontario alone by $920 million over 5 years. In total, since 2006, we've begun investing more than $1.4 billion over 5 years right across this great country. That's funding to help newcomers find work and to get their families settled. I'd like to take this moment, if I may, to thank the settlement officers in Citizenship and Immigration Canada's Ontario region. Where are you? Over here. They've helped and they've worked hard to expand our settlement programming. They've helped service providers, too, to increase their capacity to help newcomers. The service providers are not just delivering settlement services here in Scarborough, they're building communities in this province, and I'd like to applaud them for that. And as Prime Minister Harper himself noted on the welcoming nature of Canadians, and I quote, "East and West, North and South, French and English, immigrant and native born, we are all proud champions of these founding values of the Canadian way." So to all of you who are helping newcomers to build a better future for themselves in Scarborough, I say thank you, well done, congratulations, and please accept my very best wishes.
Thank you very much, Minister Finley. Our next speaker is Dr. Yu-Ji Tang, Acting President of CICS. Dr. Tang is one of Canada's environmental leaders, an internationally recognized environmental professional and executive. He's an adjunct professor and guest research fellow at 4 universities and served as a United Nations Development Program Senior Technical Advisor. He was the president of Air and Waste Management Association, Ontario section, in 2006 and 2007, and is the past chairman for the Canada-China Environmental Cooperation Council. Dr. Tang started his career in Canada with Environment Canada in 1987. He then worked for a number of private and public companies and joined Jacques Whitford in 2001 as Director, Air Quality, and became a principal. He was Vice President, Air Quality at CH2M Hill Canada from 2005 to 2007, and joined Venture Coaches as a partner in April 2007. Dr. Tang currently sits on the board of 10 clean technology companies. Dr. Tang is also an active community volunteer who serves as a director for a number of non-profit organizations. He's currently the acting president of CICS. May I give you Dr. Tang?
Good morning, Mr. Finley, guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Center for Information and Community Services of Ontario, I would like to extend a warm welcome to the Honourable Diane Finley, Minister of Citizenship and Immigration, Canada, and all the colleagues from the newcomer settlement sector in Scarborough. As you all know, Scarborough has been one of the most popular areas in the GTA where new immigrants choose to settle. It's with great joy that community agencies like us work in partnership with Citizenship and Immigration Canada, which recognize the urgency of meeting the needs of newcomers. Through the Canada-Ontario Immigration Agreement, the federal government has allotted monies that enable service providers to implement innovative programs and services that facilitate the settlement of newcomers. Over the years, funding and support from Citizenship and Immigration Canada has enabled CICS to fulfill its mission of providing culturally sensitive and professional services to empower newcomers to settle and integrate into Canadian societies as full and active members. We currently offer a variety of CIC-funded settlement programs that target adults, seniors, and youth. For adult language training, our team of LINK staff and teachers deliver 39 classes from literacy to level 5 at 3 locations in Scarborough. Programs are offered 7 days a week in order to maximize newcomer access to these training opportunities. Our ISAP program and our team of settlement workers in Toronto delivers individual counseling and group sessions out of 6 offices site. Currently, our family and seniors worker provides specific support to seniors and women in resolving issues associated with the initial stage of settlement. In order to cater to the unique needs of newcomer youth, our after-school program has been a successful and consistently sought-after services for newcomer families. Since 1998, we have delivered the Job Search Workshops program to help newcomers overcome initial barriers to gainful employment. In addition, CICS has been a part of the Settlement Workers in School program since 1999. Our team of school settlement workers works out of 25 North York schools, meeting newcomers, families, and connecting them to the community resources that aid in their adjustment to the education system and overall settlement. In 2008, CICS enters its 40 years of servicing the community. After years of hard work and generous support from all levels of government, the United Way, Tsingtao Foundation, CICS Foundation, our corporate sponsors, and our community, we are able to realize our dream of establish a one-stop service site by moving into this Immigrant Resources Center. That's the building here. We moved in March. With new funding and support from Citizenship and Immigration Canada, we are confident about providing quality settlement services to newcomers in the Scarborough area. Phase 2 of the Immigrant Resources Center will see the setup of a youth development hub for the delivery of both educational and recreational activities for young people. Together with the funding we have just received from Citizenship and Immigration Canada to deliver ISAP youth services in York Region, our multi-service center will assist immigrants of all ages to settle and integrate into their new home, Canada. It's our great pleasure hosting this special funding announcement by Citizenship and Immigration Canada. I would like to thank Minister Finley and all of you for celebrating with us the opening of the Settlement Services section of our Immigrant Resource Center this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tang. Now I'd like to hear from Ms. Claire Feiner, Executive Director of East Metro Youth Services. Ms. Claire Feiner has been the Executive Director of East Metro Youth Services for 19 years. She holds a master's degree in social work and has worked extensively with children and families, both in Ontario and Quebec. This has included various service delivery venues such as local community service centers, school social services programs, hospital psychiatric departments, a private clinic practice for individuals and couples seeking treatment, as well as teaching programs for Aboriginal workers in northern Quebec. Ms. Fainer sat as a member of the Board of Directors of Children's Mental Health Ontario, serving as president of the board from 1997 to 1999. She's also spent the last several years on CMHO's Evidence-Based Practice Committee and has held the position of chair, Community Advisory Group for Whitby Mental Health Centre. More recently, she's joined the Wellesley Institute's Board of Directors. Ms. Fainer, please.
I'm so pleased to be here, and it's nice to know that the Minister has spent some time in Scarborough, because I want to just tell you a little bit about the history of East Metro in Scarborough, and it'll give you some sense of how we've tried to meet our challenges here. We are a community-based mental health center, and we've been serving the Scarborough community for just about 35 years. We started out as a very small center at the corner of Warden and Eglinton, that big water tower, in a time when we thought that was the center of the community and the center of the universe, probably. But we grew, and so did the number of newcomers to Scarborough, so we decided we needed to move, and in the mid-'80s, we moved to what we thought was then a little bit more the center of Scarborough, Birchmount and Lawrence. But that wasn't either north enough or east enough relative to the growing community that we needed to serve. And so in the 90s, we found ourselves at Markham and Ellesmere, and we've been there now for over 15 years. So we know that and I guess the first message for today is that success in our work means that we all have to accept the challenge of continuous change. And for those of us in Scarborough particularly, what this means is that we always have to be relevant and ready and able to serve each new generation and iteration of youth and families who hope to come to Canada and to Scarborough and find a place to call home. We also, and I must say this very sincerely, think that it's such a privilege to get to know those who come to our community, because we are always trying to learn and to incorporate new perspectives and ideas about youth and family life into our existing worldview. Because if we're lucky, then we really get to develop progressive and innovative ways of thinking that I think can not only serve our community, but certainly the country at large, if not the world at large. East Metro is very proud of the efforts we make also. We try to do things right, and we do lots of needs assessments. We're always trying to find out what the best and latest research has to offer, because we really want to develop custom-fitted service models. But I have to tell you all that the truth is that when you're dealing with a youth population, like adolescents that come to our doorstep, regardless of how good your research is, even the most skilled and talented amongst us often are made to feel like newcomers ourselves. I'm a parent, and I have 2 young people living in my house who are in the final throes of their adolescent years, I hope. And the minister asked, how long can you be a youth? And that's what I say every day to my kids. I say, how long can you be a youth? But my experience tells me that dealing with adolescents makes all parents into newcomers of sorts, because we're all suddenly up against barriers and borders, be they generational or other. And so I think that parenting a youth, and then of course being a youth, are major transitional moments. The milestones and the psychological and the emotional challenges of being a parent and a youth are awesome in and of themselves. And when they're overlaid with the challenges of learning a new language and culture and finding a job and trying to fit into a new school and a new neighborhood, well, what can you say? It sounds like double jeopardy to me. So thankfully, Citizenship and Immigration Canada understands the depth of the need to support and engage and help all of these newcomer youth and families. And we are so, so grateful for this important funding because it's going to enable us to reach out and provide prevention and early intervention programs that really acknowledge and recognize and address the complexity of needs that newcomer youth and newcomer parents face. Citizenship and Immigration Canada has set for us some very ambitious goals, and what we're hoping is that improved mental health and the well-being of the people who are going to be coming to our group programs will not be ends in themselves, but will help make it easier to settle and acclimatize and acculturate. But we're also hoping that that we'll also learn from those who come to us so that we can develop better models of culturally appropriate services. So we know that Citizenship and Immigration Canada understands that this is an enormously important adventure that we're about to launch into, and we hope that our newcomer communities can do just as successful parents and adolescents do in that very challenging time. We try to create new understandings of relationship based on recognizing and respecting just how much we have to learn from each other in order to succeed. So thank you very much again.
I think you would agree with me, no doubt, that success stories from clients perhaps are the best source of inspiration for those of us who work in the sector. And this morning we have the pleasure to hear from one newcomer, Sherry Wang, who is an ISAP client from Mennonite New Life Center of Toronto. And Sherry is going to talk to us about her experience getting support from settlement services. Sherry, please.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sherry. I came from China. I came to Canada in October 2006 with my husband as a student worker. I came to Canada because I want to start a new life with my husband. Also, I want to explore a new culture and a new environment. Soon after, I gave birth to our daughter. I'm very excited to have our first child and start a new life. But at the same time, I was feeling insecure because I was scared and lonely. I did not have any friends and family in Canada. I was feeling depressed. However, I came to study English and get help as a settlement worker, helped me to translate letters from government offices. To renew my permanent residence card and to apply for subsidized daycare for my daughter. At the New Life Center, I made new friends, but most important, I had support from my teachers and settlement workers that helped me to adjust to Canadian life. Monument New Life Center has become a second home to me. I'm very excited about my new life, and I look forward to raise my daughter in the new beautiful country. Many thanks to Mennonite New Life Center, who helped me to create hopes and dreams for myself and my family in the new country. I hope to help many newcomers who face challenges of settling in Canada, and hopefully introduce them to the services that I received. I continue going to my New Life Center to get help because not only do I consider them my family, but because I know they will continue to help me transition into my new life here. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Sherry, for your experience sharing with us. Next, I'd like to call upon Vaishali Shah to share with us the positive experience she has receiving services from Catholic Cross-Cultural Services. Vaishali arrived in Canada from India in April 2005. She started Link School in 2007 and is currently enrolled in Level 7. Vaishali hopes to work in Canada as an elementary school teacher. Vaishali, please.
Respected Minister and valuable team and important guests and hosts, all ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As she said, I'm Vaishali, I'm coming from India. I have been in Canada from last 3 years. I was a high school teacher back in India, and I was using English very often. So technically I can say that I was good in English. But after immigrating here, I found the standard of English is very different than in India. I decided to join Link School for my improvement according to the needs of Canadian society. I found that place really very helpful. I'm learning lots of new words and idioms and expressions every day, which helps me to increase my vocabulary. Grammar and phrasal verb exercises helps me to make my language flow very smooth and more natural. Listening, speaking, reading, writing, all these exercises help me to articulate my words, which really helps to close the gap, the communication gap between me and the native speakers. I really believe that this class is a backbone for the new immigrants, which help them to stand up in a new environment which is completely different than one's own native country. This is the place where we can admit our language deficiency without any fear or shy, and always a teacher is there to correct our mistakes. This is how we can improve our language very well. I believe that this is a very good place for honing our English skills, because the education skills and working experience, they are already filtered during the immigration process. So the main barrier which holds us back is the language, and this is for the motive of the classes, link classes, so that we can improve our language and we can have a good chance to get settled in a new country, so that we can get good command over English, we can love the second language, we can feel the second language our own, we can feel this country our own. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vaishali. And I'm sure you would join me in wishing all the very best to Sherry and Vaishali in their new life in Canada. May I also take this opportunity to thank Mr. Finley and all our special guests who have. And this morning, I'd like to invite Minister Finley and Dr. Tang to participate in the ribbon-cutting ceremony to mark the inauguration of the settlement wing of this center.
Thank you. Okay, let's go. 3.
Thank you very much, Mr. Finley and Dr. Tang. Now is photo opportunity time.
Oh, thank you very much.
We have that
Okay, so anybody who was in the other room? Yes. Okay, so anybody, number one shot. Anybody?
Yes.